calling, gospel truth shining. In the storms we're finding, grace never hiding.
Welcome to Life Podcast. As we journey through the Bible, we are officially starting yet another book, and that is the book of Joshua. And today we're going to do an introduction on the book of Joshua. The book of Joshua continues the story of the history of Israel from the death of Moses through the conquest of Canaan until also the death of Joshua. From chapter 1 all through chapter 12, it covers the first 5 or 6 years after Moses' death. What is the purpose of writing the book of Joshua? To give the history of Israel's conquest of the promised land. Who is the author? The author is Joshua, except for the ending, which may have been written by the high priest Phinehas, an eyewitness to the events recounted there. The original audience is the people of Israel. The setting is the land of Canaan, also called the Promised Land, which occupied the same general geographical territory of modern-day Israel. What is the key verse? The key verse in the book of Joshua is Joshua chapter 1, verse 11. It says, "Go through the camp and tell the people to get their provisions ready. In 3 days, you will cross the Jordan River and take possession of the land the Lord your God is giving unto you." And then in the book of Joshua, we're going to see a special feature, what is this? Out of over 1 million people, Joshua and Caleb were the only two who left Egypt and entered the promised land. Just a short history on Joshua. Joshua was born in Egypt and became Moses' right-hand man during the Exodus and desert wandering. Joshua was a fine military commander as per Exodus chapter 17 verse 8. And then Joshua was one of the 12 spies who scouted the land of Canaan and gave a positive report. He and Caleb alone had faith and courage. And then we also see that Joshua and Caleb were the only ones from the community to survive the 40 years of wandering. And then we also see that Israel remained faithful to God throughout Joshua's lifetime. Because Joshua submitted to God, he obeyed and listened to what God said. What is a blueprint in the book of Joshua? The first blueprint that we are going to see is entering the promised land. And this is Joshua chapter 1 verse 1 all through Joshua chapter 5 verse 12. And under entering the promised land, we're going to see, number 1, Joshua leads the nation, and 2, crossing the Jordan. And under here, entering the promised land, we learn Joshua demonstrated his faith in God as he took up the challenge to lead the nation, and the people obeyed God by setting out across the Jordan River to possess the land. As believers, we need to cross over from our past old life to the new one, putting off our selfish desires and press on to what God has planned for us. Blueprint number 2, we're going to see conquering the promised land, and that is from Joshua chapter 5 verse 13 all through Joshua chapter 12 verse 24. Under conquering the promised land, we're going to see, number 1, Joshua attacks the center of the land. Number 2, Joshua attacks the southern kings. Number 3, Joshua attacks the northern kings. And then number 4, we're going to see the summary of all the conquest. Here we're going to learn Joshua and his army made war from city to city, cleansing the land of its wickedness by destroying every trace of idol worship. What do we learn from that? We should not condone, accept sin. We should completely destroy it. We are going to see blueprint number 3. And it is dividing the promised land, and that is from Joshua chapter 13 verse 1 all through Joshua chapter 24 verse 33. And here we're going to see the tribes receive their land. 2, special cities are set aside as per God's instructions. And then number 3, the eastern tribes return home. And then finally, number 4, Joshua's farewell to Israel. What are we going to learn here? In the final blueprint, Joshua urged the Israelites to continue to follow the Lord and worship Him alone. We too are not too different from the Israelites. We need to continually renew our commitment to obey God above all other authority and to worship Him only. We're going to see 5 mega themes, and the first thing we're going to see is a theme of success. God gave success to the Israelites when they obeyed His master plan, not when they followed their own desires. God's work done in God's way will bring His success. Point to note, the standard for success, however, is not set by the society around us, but by God's word. We need to adjust our minds to God's way of thinking in order to see His standard for success. And then the next mega theme we're going to see is the theme of faith. The Israelites demonstrated their faith by trusting God daily to save and guide them. They looked at how God saved them in the past and developed a strong confidence that He would continue to do the same. Our focus should be on God's faithfulness. What He has done in the past should remind us that God doesn't change and we can put our faith and trust in Him. And then we're going to see mega theme number 3, and that is the theme of guidance. God gave instructions to Israel for every aspect of their lives. His law guided their daily living, and His specific marching orders gave them victory in battle. As believers, we need to be guided by His word. When we stay in touch with God, we will have wisdom to navigate through life and its challenges. And then theme number 4, we're going to see the theme of leadership. Joshua was an example of an excellent leader. He was confident in God's strength and courageous in the face of opposition. Above all, Joshua sought God's advice. To be a great leader, we must be ready to listen to what God says and action when He instructs us. Strong and great leaders are led by God. And then the final mega theme we're going to see is a theme of conquest. God commanded His people to conquer the Canaanites and take all their land. Unfortunately, Israel never finished the job. The Israelites were faithful in accomplishing their mission at first, but their commitment faltered. To love God means more than being enthusiastic about Him. We must complete all the work He gives us and apply His instructions to every corner and aspect of our lives. That was an introduction on the book of Joshua, and I will see you again starting tomorrow as we tackle one chapter a day. God bless you.